Welcome to the She Speaks to Inspire podcast. I'm your host, Julia Kraft, your authentic expression mentor and public speaking coach. She Speaks to Inspire is an empowering public speaking podcast for women with public speaking fear. Unlike other podcasts on public speaking, She Speaks to Inspire not only gives you tips to be a confident communicator under pressure, but also helps you regulate your nervous system for less anxiety, learn lifestyle practices to reduce burnout and overwhelm, and reconnect with your feminine leadership presence for more authenticity and comfort in your skin. I believe it's the quiet ones, especially the quiet women, who have the most important ideas. I believe the world really does need your voice. So let's dive in. Welcome back to another podcast episode from the She Speaks to Inspire podcast. Today we're talking about why scripts will never make you a better public speaker and what will. If you haven't already, make sure to rate and review the podcast. I always love seeing your reviews, and it'll help other women who are struggling with public speaking fear and anxiety to get the support that they need, just like you are finding here. So thank you so much for taking the 30 seconds to do that. I really appreciate it. I hear from so many women that I talk to that they don't know what to say, that they forget the words, that the words just fly out of their mind as soon as they get there in front of the audience. No matter how much preparation they've done, no matter how well they know the topic, no matter how simple the topic is, sometimes even your name can fly out of your head and you can't remember. I hear about women stumbling and fumbling over their words, using a lot of filler words. I see women circling around and repeating themselves, not trusting that the words that they already said were the right ones. And a lot of times the strategy to deal with these challenges when they're trying to figure it out on their own is to script out what they're going to say, word for word in eloquent paragraphs. I'm sure you're a great writer. These smart professional women, I'm sure you're a smart, experienced, professional woman who knows her stuff. So you can write an excellent script. I have no doubt about that. And then do you practice it for hours and hours? Do you try to memorize it? Do you read it during your actual presentation, hoping that nobody's going to notice that you're reading? This makes you sound robotic no matter what you do. I'm trained as an actress. I went to Emerson College. I majored in acting. Even for the best actors, it's a challenge to bring a script to life as if it's happening right now. It's a really hard thing to do, and I would say there aren't that many great actors out there. Look, you don't need to master the skill of acting. That is not the skill that you need to master for the kind of speaking that you're doing. You just don't. This kind of skill I feel that you need to master is the art of authenticity and improvisation that allows you to engage and connect with your audience, build your credibility, and ultimately get your message across. So when you script, practice, rehearse, memorize, and deliver your talk as if you're reading, you'll miss cues from the audience, subtle cues. There won't be as much connection. And if something does go different than you planned, which it almost always does, right? You most likely will get thrown off and you'll stumble and fumble and circle around a lot more than you might have otherwise. This in turn, because there's already some perfectionism going on here, right? You're holding yourself to very high standards with this scripting. It's going to trigger that perfectionism and there's going to be a lot of self-criticism. It's sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Here's my belief that you are a different person in every single moment, and so is everyone in your audience. So there's no way to absolutely know what the right words are going to be for that moment. That doesn't mean you don't prepare at all. I'll talk about that in a second. It's just that the reality, like objective reality, is you don't know what the right words are going to be for the moment of your presentation. You see, life is not as black and white as we sometimes think it is. Black and white means that there's a right and a wrong, there's a good and a bad, there's a proper way and an improper way, an appropriate way and an inappropriate way. If I had a nickel for every time a woman said to me, I want to speak in the proper way, I want to do it right, I want to be good at this, these kind of things. I know what they're trying to say, I totally get it. But as soon as I hear that kind of language, I understand. This woman is functioning with black and white thinking. And that's one of the main reasons that she's experiencing public speaking fear. If you're an accountant looking at the numbers in the ledger, in your QuickBook account or whatever, there is black and white, right? When that number is correct and when it's incorrect. But when it comes to the art of communication, it's an art, not a science. It's a gray zone, not a black and white equation. In the gray zone, there's so many shades of gray. There's no ultimate black, there's no ultimate white. It's all just gray. And that sounds very bleak when I say it that way. It sounds very not interesting. I don't mean that. I just mean that there's all this range. How does that way of thinking about it shift your anxiety? Scripts will always put you into a black and white equation where I said it right, like I wrote it out, or I said it wrong because I didn't say it how I wrote it out. Literally the black and white letters on your page, right? If you soften your grip on the scripts, then we're in the gray zone. There's room for the unknown. You could even say there's room for magic. To be concrete, what I suggest is that you study outline structures for speaking, that you learn about those. And I teach those in my Fully Expressed program. So if you're interested in learning about these things, I recommend going to speaktoinspire.com, register for the masterclass, learn about the program, and see if it makes sense for you to sign up and get support around these improvisational structures right away. Because what I teach you to do is organize your thoughts into simple bullet points that build on each other so that when you go into that meeting, when you go into that talk, you can be present with the audience as well as with yourself to feel out the best way to improvise between these bullet points. It's going to be different every single time you do it. That's exactly how it should be. The mindset here is, instead of scripting, I will trust that the right words will come to me. This mindset sets you free from anxiety. So this episode is gold. Your performance anxiety is healed. That's it. That's just the core of it, right? That being said, there's a lot to work on. It's not a quick fix by any means. There's a lot of new muscle memory to build. So again, head over to speaktoinspire.com, sign up for the masterclass. Consider the program, see if it makes sense for you. And if you still have questions, if you want more support, I'm here for you. I'm Julia Kraft. I'm the founder of Speak to Inspire Coaching, the creator of the Fully Expressed program, and I'd love to be your public speaking coach. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me on my mobile anytime, 415-818-0241. The world really does need your voice. Thanks for listening. This has been She Speaks to Inspire with Julia Kraft, your authentic expression mentor and public speaking coach. I'm so glad you joined me. And I hope you got so much out of this episode. If you want to learn more about Speak to Inspire training programs and get inspired, head over to speaktoinspire.com or follow us on Instagram at She Speaks to Inspire. Never forget, the world needs your voice, and it's time for you to speak to inspire. See you on the next episode.